let's segue a tiny bit from that, from the Luka trade. Is a nice segue. I can't believe there's just always something, but there was another interview last night. Rick Welts, the new CEO of the Dallas Mavericks, was on the broadcast last night. A lot of things were said. A lot of people are angry about him. I will continue to... I have two things to say about this. I have two things to say about the Rick Welts situation. One, I do think from a PR perspective, I'm looking at it and I'm like, all right, we're doing an interview with somebody who's kind of higher up with the Mavericks. Rick Welts, not a decision maker personnel-wise. I don't think he had any say really whatsoever on the Luka trade. Let's just start there. But we're in Madison Square Garden and it's a broadcast, interview. Falwell, I think, is the greatest of all time. Love him to death. But it's on the Mavs network. Like, there's not going to be any hard-hitting questions realistically. So an interview like this in Madison Square Garden, you do have to start to ask, like, all right, we've yet to have a Nico Harrison press conference with Dallas media. We've yet to have a press conference with anybody in the front office, any like key decision makers not named Jason Kidd with the Dallas media. So that's and you're looking at it. The only two times now that we've heard them like really speak, right, in interviews was right after the trade on the road in a hotel room in Cleveland, in a hotel, meeting room in Cleveland, Ohio, and now at a game in New York City. We've yet to see them in Dallas at all. So I think that's bad. And I would say at some point you're going to have to face the music, right? Now, with that being said, we were watching the game. We listened to the interview live. I've listened to the interview back in the clips. Guys, if anything Rick Welts said sparks a really, really strong reaction in you, really pisses you off, really makes you mad, I'm telling you guys, I just think for the mental health, it's just try your hardest to move on to something else. Because realistically, I don't think anything he said, everything he said was so PR. Safe. The quote that has people very upset, I'm going to play it right now, but I'm not going to show the clip because it has the game and I don't want to get clapped.
I'm listening every day to how fans are feeling about everything, not just the trade, okay? And I think
why is Twitter's audio so low?
Every day to, when they get to know this ownership group, when they get to know, what they're all about, I really do think you're going to see all the ingredients for success here.
All right, the audio is so low. I'm just going to read that. Time, wins, and losses will tell whether it was a good or bad deal. I'm going to promise to our fans right now, whatever trust we've lost, we're going to earn it back because we're going to do this the right way and win championships. So, yeah, maybe not the best answer. But a PR-driven answer. He works for the team. I've seen people who are like, dude, just admit it was a bad trade. I mean, nobody's going to fucking do that, man. Like, that's not going to happen. Like, he's not going to go on and be like, yeah, it was a terrible trade, but you know what? We just got to persevere now at this point. I don't know. This was just literally such a nothing interview to me. And then he also sort of hinted at, well, not hinted, he straight up said that the Mavs will be in a new arena for the 2031-2032 season. Not great, but to get mad at that when you hear his tone when saying that is funny to begin with. I mean, yeah, it's a PR. He's the CEO of the team. He's there to help build a new stadium. He's not there to make trades or do anything like that, right? That's just a PR-driven answer. Do you think they destroyed the Dirk statue when they moved to Irving? No. Come on, get serious. Get serious, man. They're not doing that shit. That would be beyond insane. Slightly, will you be on the pod tomorrow? I'm not going to be on the Tim McMahon pod. I'm not going to be on the Tim McMahon Locked On pod, no. Will I read his book? When does it come out? Maybe. So the stadium thing, I thought this was well known. The American Airlines Center lease is up in 2031. Part of the reason why Cuban sold the team was that a new stadium was coming and he didn't want to deal with it. Like, he said that when he sold the team. Whenever he sold the team, he mentioned that this building a new stadium, that he's not good at that stuff and he doesn't want to be involved. So that's not surprising to me. I did find some of the... So I said, what's wrong with the American Airlines Center? I've been to a few basketball stadiums. You know, American Airlines Center, I would say, is pretty strongly middle of the road. Like, it's fine. It's completely fine. It's in a really good location downtown. And it's good. It's a good stadium. It's big. You know, they got all the stuff you'd want on the concourse. It's nothing crazy. It's nothing terrible. You know, the Thunder Stadium, they're due for a new one. I would say the American Airlines Center is better than there. Although, just from a basketball fan perspective, the Thunder, going to a Thunder game and experiencing it there was better. And, you know, granted, that was a playoff game and everything, but you walk into the Thunder Stadium and you're there immediately. Like, the concourse is so small. Like, you're basically in the stadium. You're basically on your seat. The way that the seats kind of are, you're more over the team, if that makes sense. You're more packed in, so it's louder in there. The worst one I've been to is New Orleans, by far. By far. This is the worst one that I've been to. So anyways, they're going to build a new stadium. Nothing wrong with the American Airlines Center, but 30 years, I mean, it's been around 30 years. That's typically the lifespan of a stadium. They don't own it, and I think the idea behind building a new stadium is the Mavs will own it. That helps out tremendously when it comes to the value of the team, right? I love this. Fuck them and the team. It's like, okay, man. Like, what's the point of, like, responding to a guy who hosts a podcast about the Mavs with this? It's so strange. Nick, do us fans a solid and tell Rick, fuck him in that arena. Thanks. Why would they do that? I want the new stadium to be in Dallas, not Irving. Yes, that would be preferred. The Heat Stadium is so nice, and I love their Jumbotron. Slightly, this will get people mad, but I think McMahon is overhated. He's a shit stirrer. He stirs the pot. He works for ESPN. Like, he knows what he's doing. Nick does say that he wants to know how and why the fans feel the way they do. People still crashing out so hard. Yeah, I know. AC is a great arena. Let's not get tricked into thinking it's not. Again, I'd say American Airlines Center is about average as an arena. It's about average. It's in a great location with access to public transit and several restaurant bars. That much is true. It is in a great location. Moving to Irving would be bad for that reason, that it is in such a great location. The American Airlines Center is. The arena deal is strictly for greed and is not meant to actually serve fans. Let's not kid ourselves. Yeah, don't kid yourself. Every single arena deal is for greed. Every single one. Like that goes without being said. If you need that explained to you, I'm sorry. How have these other teams managed new arenas while having legend statues outside? I think they just move them, right? They just pick them up and move them. Victory Plaza on Nowitzki Way hits different. Yeah, I mean, in an ideal world, you could just sort of knock down that arena and build a new one. I would love that. Now, they're built like let's not play stupid, man. They're building a casino resort stadium. Like, that's what they're doing. That's what's going to happen. You think we'll ever know the extent to how much money they'll lose due to season tickets not being renewed and Mavs TV subscriptions canceled? I'd have to imagine they're doing pretty bad in the season ticket department. I would have to imagine it's not good. It's silly too because, yeah, and again, the Mavs don't own the American Airlines Center, so they can't like knock it down, right? What are the Stars going to do? I haven't followed that at all. It's only two because the new stadiums pay the owners back in probably like 5 years. Yeah, so the idea would be we want to build a new stadium and own the stadium. We want to build a new stadium, own the stadium. That way, when, you know, in years down the line, if we do decide to sell the team, it's going to go way up in value. I'm going to buy a season pass and sell them on the secondary market. Good luck. That feels like a bad investment right there. But the taxpayers pay for half. You can get taxpayers to fund some of it, and it's also a profitable casino. Fucking nuts. The city, I'd have to imagine if this were to happen, Irving, I would assume, or Irving would give a solid chunk of money for it. Just because I think I think there'd be so much, they would see so much potential there for the casino resort, it being a destination, it being a place people travel to. Everyone I know said they won't renew season tickets. Yeah, I'm interested to see how that's going to go. But anyways, I really did think this was a softball-ass interview, which was to be expected, right? It's on Mavs TV. The pros had the AAC built with taxpayers' dime, which is how they made all of their wealth off the government contracts. So the LA fans are so weird. They already want Luka to get out. Us fans are way better. I have seen some of the opening salvos of I'm trying to tell you guys that it's gonna get nasty over on Twitter, and I've seen some of the opening salvos. The back and forth has started. Let Anthony Davis play consistently again, and those tickets will be right back. This is another reason why I think the Mavs are going to be uber aggressive in the offseason. They are always uber aggressive, but I think there might be a directive from up top. Like, hey, we really do desperately need something to get fans excited about, because trying to sell them on, hey, a full season of AD, especially with Kyrie going to be out for who knows how long, maybe the entire season. Good luck. Right? Good luck pitching that to fans. Now, if it's, hey, KD's here now, that'll get fans excited. Basketball fans are easy, man. They are. Watch Mavs get Harden or LeBron. LeBron's not leaving LA. LaMelo. Somebody. I just said Kevin Durant. A new toy. That's it. The unction of KD signs. That'd be such a hilarious team. LaMelo tapping into the Gen Z market. How the hell would he miss a whole year and a half? Well, so we're talking about season tickets. That's a difficult sell for anyone who's on the fence about season tickets. Hey, AD full season, no Kyrie. We don't know when he'll be back. Like, is that like how exciting or how excited are you to buy season tickets? You know, like how excited are you? LaMelo or Harden would be so funny. You don't need KD, you need a point guard. Yeah, true. They do. I can't wait to see what they do. It's going to be something. Sexton's an option. Kobe White's an option. I don't think Levine's impossible. I really don't. I don't think Levine's impossible. Trey, I don't really see Trey, to be honest with you. I think Kobe White's going to be expensive, as he should be. Ben Simmons. Would Levine even be bad? I'd really like him here. Levine would be a tough sell for me, honestly. And I do like him. I like him. I don't think Sacramento's a good fit for him. But that's a tough sale for me. With the idea being, like, when Kyrie comes back, we could throw out Kyrie, Levine. Like, I don't like that backcourt, really. I don't like that backcourt. They better not move to Irving. Well, I got bad news, man. I think they're moving to Irving. Zion would be funny. Yeah. Zion would be hilarious. You think they're going into the second apron? I'd be pretty surprised if they did. We don't need someone ball dominant, just a six-man who could start level point guard. Yeah, like a Colin Sexton would be nice. Like that type of player. But I feel like a Colin Sexton is like that weird player where you'd want him and you want to go get him. And the Jazz probably want to hold on to him. So the price for him is probably higher than you'd want to pay for a guy like that, if that makes sense. You'd have to overpay basically to bring in Colin Sexton. And I don't think the Mavs are in a position to overpay. Anthony Simons, yeah, maybe. Cole Anthony, like, think about those type of players. Problem is you don't want a big star point guard because Kyle will come back. You need someone who's good but can go to the bench. Yeah, and that's difficult. That's again, those are guys that are weird on the market because you kind of have to overpay to get them, and you don't feel great about it necessarily. I remember when I was doing the trade deadline prediction research thing, like there was talks about Anthony Simons being like second round picks, being his market. Which, if that's the case, yeah, maybe you tap into that. Maybe you tap into that in the summer. Cole Anthony, it felt like they were just looking to give him away at times. Maybe you tap into that. Former Laker fan here. Wow, former Laker fan. What's the story behind that? The D'Lo AD duo actually works, but you need to compensate with enough defense and rebounding. D'Lo would actually be kind of interesting. I've thought about it a little bit more. Poole. Poole. What about Igor Dimon? Igor Dimon. Snag Nas from Mini and use Gaff and other pieces to get a legit playmaker. I would love Nas Reed. His market's going to be big. Nolan Traore, is he ready to go? The Bulls are keeping Josh Giddey, as they should. I mean, Dylan Harper, yeah, that would be great. Would love that. What would be the benefit of D'Lo or only as a gab stop point guard? So it's D'Lo would be this sort of, he can start while Kyrie's out. He gives you shooting. He does give you some playmaking. And then if Kyrie comes back and D'Lo's still on the team, you can move D'Lo to the bench or whatever and just have that coming off your bench. Interesting. Like, D'Lo's a free agent. What is his... I mean, surely he's just a mid-level guy, right? There's no way. There's no way he's going for more than that. I remember you getting dragged for saying Giddey has more potential than a pick in the 20s. Yeah, I mean, the Giddey trade was a perfect example of how draft picks have completely given every NBA fan brain rot. Draft pick brain rot. That we've seen 5, 4, 5, 6 first round picks get traded, and that's what we expect every trade to be like now. I don't think D'Lo would want to sit on the bench. Well, hey, buddy. Enjoy Brooklyn then. Like, maybe he just stays in Brooklyn. I don't know. Right, like, if you're the Bulls, do I want a shitty Thunder first-round pick, or would I rather just... I like Josh Giddey. Maybe the Bulls liked him, and that gives us something interesting. And Giddey's been pretty fucking solid lately. I mean, I'm not defending the Luka trade whatsoever, but they should have gotten way more. Absolutely. I mean, I'm not defending them on that front. They should have absolutely robbed the Lakers. The Lakers should have nothing left in the tank after the Luka trade, right? But yeah, people are acting like they didn't get AD. Like, AD is more valuable than really any first round pick the Lakers could give you. And probably all of their first round picks combined. Like, AD is more valuable. Lakers had nothing to give. Oh, I mean, I don't like this. We're rehashing this at this point, but how do you not leave that trade with all of their first round picks, right? And I know I'm contradicting myself, but it's just the principle of it. Like, I need everything from you. And yeah, I want Reeves. It was only 2. Well, they should have got the other one. And then a swap. And I don't care about Connect. I really don't. I feel nothing about Connect. We are legit in here trying to find a guy like AR-15. I know. If they'd gotten Austin Reeves in the trade, definitely you feel different about things. You do start to feel a little bit differently about, now I'm not saying about the trade, but I'm saying like about the Mavs' future. Wow, McMahon, tell us how you really feel. But Doncic's body became bloated when he missed all of training camp in the preseason while recovering from his calf injury. His father joined him in Vegas and stayed in Dallas for a while, and they enjoyed plenty of festive feasts. Doncic's weight ballooned into the high 260s, a significant factor in sluggish start by his high standards. All right. Amazon.com. Wonder Boy. Purchase. I'm in. I'm bought in. Festive feasts. I'm in. Festive feast is so funny, man. So funny. That's from the bonus chapter. Oh my God. Festive feasts. What does that even mean? What is considered a festive feast? Definitely read it and give us your review. Should I? Tex-Mex. I mean, honestly, and this might be a little xenophobic of me, but I hear Luka and his dad and Festive Feast, and I think those videos of it's like the Balkan breakfast. You guys know what I'm talking about? The ones where it's like, and it looks good to me. Maybe I'm wrong. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? where it's just like bread, meats, all of like the vegetables. You're just eating raw onions and peppers. Like, I'm not going to lie. I see those videos and I'm like, that shit looks fucking good. Cheeses. Like, I feel like I would fuck that up. Imagine Luka retires early to become a food blogger. Now, Luka's going to Saudi Arabia, man. Balkan breakfast is good. Tried it for a week. Levine's just not going to work. No, I agree. I don't know what to believe from McMahon and what not. It is really researched or just stuff that Nico told him to write. So can I ask why exactly? So I've seen people say, oh, it's a book about Luka from a guy written by a guy who Luka doesn't like. Now, I do want to say, when it comes to, and I've thought of this for a long time, when it comes to books about people, documentaries about people, I don't necessarily want there to be a close relationship there because it's not a trustworthy narrator anymore, right? Now, Tim McMahon, based off his history, based off the fact that he is employed by the worldwide leader in sports, is there probably some, sensationalism in this book? Probably, absolutely. Absolutely, there's some sensationalism. How can someone write a book about someone who doesn't like them? Well, it happens a lot. You could know a lot about somebody based off following them, based off, Tim McMahon has spent a long time covering the Mavs. Talking to people, being around people who know way more than any of us. Didn't he reveal the book before the trade? Oh, this book's been in the works for a long time. For a long time. How long has he been working on this book? It's been talked about for a while. Dude, Tim McMahon was banned from the Mavs stadium for a long time. Like, he's not like super buddy with the team. Maybe he is now with Nico in charge, but he wasn't. Mavs front office hates Tim. I don't know if the new regime hates Tim. I really don't. Write some positive shit. Oh yeah, Kid did say that too. Cuban does not like him. No. He's absolutely a mouthpiece for Nico now. Can I ask why we think that? Is there real proof behind that? Because I could believe that. I could believe that. Is it just because Tim sort of said the same, has been saying the same thing as the front office did after the trade? He had comments from Nico an hour or so after the trade, exclusive quotes. Oh, that's true. That's a good point. That is a good point. He did have the first quotes from Nico. That's true. That's true. Interesting. Tim claimed the death threats thing without proof. Look, not defending Nico, not doing any of that. I was on Twitter, guys. I was seeing replies to my tweets about Nico. I don't think there needed to be proof. Like, we saw them. And they were all jokes, and I think they were all jokes and trolling, right? But all it does take is one person to not be trolling. Grant Avseth clears that mouthpiece. Dallas PD, no evidence of threats. I guess X is more suffice than Dallas PD. I think there's a different level, and I don't know. I don't want to get too deep into this, but for a police department, I think there's a different credibility for like a legit threat than like, hey, I'm hiring security because I've seen a lot of shit on Twitter that scares me. Does that make sense? I mean, the whole thing was a mess. I've seen Tim chatting up with Nico before games like they're buds. I could believe it if you guys say it. I will say, before Nico, he was not super buddy-buddy with the organization. But I could see him being buddy-buddy now. If you want to say, like, oh, Nico just needed like an ally in the media, I can maybe see it. Yeah, and then Tim going at it with Great Half Seth was not a good look at all. No. Not a good look. People say so much death threats type stuff on Twitter day in and day out. Using that was just for narrative purposes. Yeah, I mean, I think it was just probably the sheer volume of it.